When you no longer want, you're no longer trying to control your life or predict it. Wow, the game changes a little bit. That's a really important thing because people build an identity by, becoming some type of body, having some type of body, knowing someone or being someone, owning some things, living somewhere at some time. And the identity then is identifying with everything material in the three-dimensional world, and all their attention is out there, but you want to hide the divine anywhere in a human being, the best place to hide it is within them. They'll look everywhere else for it. Wow. So then when you start moving closer towards it, and you start feeling more whole, then the scooter is just a signature of what you love about life, your freedom.
Sounds
so
fun.
the Porsche and all those things become an identity. And when you become possessed by your possessions, and you can't get beyond them to create, because your identity is so steeped in the three-dimensional world, it's going to take crisis. It's going to take trauma. It's going to take disease. It's going to take diagnosis. It's going to take
break
loss.
through from that, right?
No, it's going to for a person to finally go, what's
wake
more?
up.
Yeah, what's more important, right? So when you feel so off, you feel so altered that no sports car, no shopping spree, no meal is going to make the feeling go away. Now this is when the soul's going, hey, wake up, because now nothing out there is going to make this feeling go away. What are you left with? For the first time, you're no longer responding to your texts.
Right.
You're no longer checking all your emails. You're no longer posting. You're no longer going out to dinner with the same people, listening to the same stories. You're breaking all those agreements.
Right.
And now you're looking at yourself because you feel so altered that you can finally see yourself like someone else sees you. You're observing. Now, that's when you begin to objectify the subjective self. That's the moment you're disentangling from the program. My message is, why would you wait for that? Why not marry a clear intention with an elevated emotion every day? Instead of going to your lowest denominator to see yourself, go to an elevated state. And from an elevated state, look at the old self and be so conscious, like, okay, now I'm up here. So you practice the meditation as a rehearsal for game time. And then you open your eyes and now it's game time. It's not like I did my meditation, you're on the freeway and you're flipping people off or judging your coworker.
Now you got to show up.
You got to show up and you got to demonstrate it. Now you primed your brain and body to demonstrate it. Now the game changes.
Yes.
Now it's instrumental, right? So then when you have that kind of understanding and you can get in touch with what that is, you'll know the moment you lose it that something is not right. So from an elevated state now, you could look at the old self, and the moment you start going down, you're like, I lost it. But you don't have to reach that low place. Why not do it every day so that when you start noticing your energy dropping, you'll get better at it. And this is not positive thinking. This is creation. Because if you can maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day, get ready, because weird stuff's going to happen all around. You're going to be like, and this happens all the time, people say, I'm not doing anything. Oh my God. Of course you're not. You don't have to do anything. You are the vortex.
You're allowing.
It's coming to you.
Yes.
It's coming to you. So then when that person overcomes themselves and they're sitting in the fire, it's no longer pleasure. It's no longer, the need for gratification. They're just in love with themselves. They're satisfied with themselves. Now, when they're in love with themselves and they can allow others to be however they want, then the side effect of that is called joy. Joy is the absence of the torment of those emotions that keeps the body unhappy. You're just not that anymore. You're happy, right?
Yes.
So a scooter would bring you just as much joy as a sports car, because you don't need either one of them to be happy. It's just you want the experience of just being free and driving your little Vespa, whatever it is, right? To me, I'm the same way. Like, I've had all those things and none of that means anything to me. We take memories with us. I want to experiences. I want to have moments that I'll never forget in my entire life. And I don't care if it's the most amazing meal with great friends and great wine and great toasting and great moments and a lot of gratitude, or it's a mystical moment that's so profound and so transformative. Those are the ones that you take with you. And so overcoming the past and the emotions that are connected to the past and lowering the volume to those emotions is called wisdom. Now, wisdom is what we take with us, and that's when we're done. And now we're ready for the next experience. So then that teaching people how to find that place of love for themselves means that they have to come up against everything that stands in the way between them and that. And that's
what
the
is
work.
that usually for people?
It's the survival emotions, it's hardwired programs, it's their past, it's the story that they tell about their past. I just want them to tell the story of their future more than they're telling the story of their past. I'm not certain that we need to heal an inner child in as much as we need to overcome an emotion. Like, I never tell a person to go back to their childhood and remember the events. The story is probably not even accurate.
Right.
Just overcome the emotion. Forget the story. Overcome the emotion, and you belong to the future instead of the past, right? So will that heal the inner child? Yes. Have I had profound moments where I saw things as a child and how I framed them? Absolutely. But that was a moment where I was enlightened that I didn't need to do that anymore, but it was inwardly that I did that. So healing the inner child is healing the same person. You're only the child when you feel the emotion. That's taking you back. In the moment. You're going back to being 7 and trying to figure out why things are happening the way they are. That's never going to be resolved, but if you don't have the emotion, the child is healed. The child is free, right? I mean, so we just work on the emotions. That's the key. And so when you overcome the emotion that's charged, that keeps you connected to the past, and you no longer have an emotion connected to the past, then that's wisdom. Then you know. I mean, then you're free. Love is wholeness. I mean, it's the union of polarity. It's the union of duality. It's opposites coming together. It's the center of the magnet. Yeah. There's no polarity in love. There's no opposite. We came from pure love. Mm-hmm. We came from unity, source, singularity, 0 point, universal mind, whatever you call it.
Yes.
We descended into density from oneness. To answer the question, is there more? There is more, and how do we say this? There's one God, but in that God there are many. So all of us have a spark of oneness, of the divine in us, and we've come down to such a degree of separation that we no longer are connected to anyone or anything, that you have the free will now. You are so autonomous that the spark of the divine is in you as oneness, that you get to create reality on your own. To answer the question, is there more? And you get thousands of opportunities to do it. And so imagine, if you've overcome your emotions, really every day, I guarantee you that you'll pay less attention to that. They only capture your attention with an emotion. They'll tell you, Louis, as you age, your immune system's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then you see a picture of some guy in his 50s and he looks really good, and he looks better than you, and you're like, oh God, he looks really good. And John here, has had something that you could get if you had chicken pox. I had chicken pox. 1 out of 3 people get this. I'm not such a lucky guy. And then they show you a picture of somebody with shingles and it looks like a 4th degree burn. The whole entire, what are you going to do? The effect of that image is going to capture your attention because it shocked you. Now you're going to lean in and pay more attention to it. Now they got you. And anything they say after that is going to start the programming process. So you capture people's attention with their emotions. Remember that. And if you want to divide a community, choose fear or choose anger, and you'll polarize everybody.
Really?
Of course. And then you can decide what the solution is, because now people will be susceptible to information. They'll believe whatever it is equal to that emotion. So what is mind? Mind is the brain in action. That's what it is, according to neuroscience. So then it's important for us to remind ourselves, reproduce the same level of mind every day, fire and wire the circuits, install them, and then emotionally embrace the future so the body's conditioned more to the future instead of the past. That's reminding the brain and body, right? If you're not waking up being defined by a vision of the future, I can guarantee you'll be predictable, because you'll be in the memories of your past. Period. It's the way it is. And I want people to believe in their future more than they believe in their past. I want them to be more in love with their future than they are with their past. I want them to romance a new future more than they romance their past. And it's so much easier to forget our vision than to remember it. And that's why we have to remind ourselves every day. Do you know how many people stop me and say, you're not going to believe this? I actually took 2 weeks just to see if this worked. I can't tell you in 2 weeks all the crazy things that happened to me. Like they have to convince me. Like I'm not interested in convincing anybody any longer that this works. I'm just never. I want you to just learn how to do it, so that it's like you eat something really great at a dinner table. The first thing you want to do is share it with somebody. Like taste, that's how I am. Like, I'm going to stick it in your mouth, right? It's great. So you have that experience. You want other people to experience it. Why? Because imagine a community of people, the living organism of human beings, caring for one another, loving one another, informing one another, honoring one another, respecting one another, healing one another, shining for one another, just so others can shine. I mean, that's who we are when we're not living in fear and anger and in survival. That's that we are innately wired to care for one another, to respect one another, to be a collective, a new consciousness, another way, and if you practice it, just feeling a little love every day, a little gratitude every day. I can prove to you, I have the research, your immune system is going to be so strong, it's going to be immune to any foreign agent.
With gratitude.
Just 10 minutes, 20 minutes of gratitude a day. What do you got? Not just to think about the things that you're grateful for, but to embrace them emotionally. Why? Because you want to practice feeling that. What's the emotional signature of gratitude? When you're receiving something favorable, you just received something favorable. Something amazing is happening to you, or something amazing just happened to you that surprised you. What do you say? You feel grateful, right? So the emotional signature of gratitude means something amazing just happened to you. Something just happened, or something is literally happening to you. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. So if you finish your meditation in gratitude before the event occurs, your body, as the unconscious mind, is believing it's already happened to you.
Receiving,
and you're in the state of receiving. So, and what do you got to lose except your immune system? The worst thing that could happen to you is you'll heal. It's the worst thing that could happen to you.